What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. It's Friday Live at 5 here at Ron Harris Muscle. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like, share, ring that bell, the notification bell. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps me out, make this channel better for you guys. Before I get into today's topics, I want to remind you that we have a preview I did with Giles Tiger Thomas for the Arnold Classic South America. Arnold Classic South America happening tomorrow in Sao Paulo, Brazil. That is on this channel. Check that out. And tomorrow, we will be doing a live watch party. The times are noon, judging, Eastern. These are Eastern Standard Times. I'm in Boston, New York, Florida. That's all Eastern Standard Time in the United States. 12 noon is going to be wellness and then open men. We're going to be talking about and covering open men. 6 p.m. will be the finals. So 12 noon, 6 p.m. Join us right here. We're going to be doing that. So let's get into it, guys. I want to start with what was on the thumbnail. And I use myself in the thumbnail, guys, so I don't have to worry about people saying, hey, why'd you put me on your damn thumbnail? People get mad sometimes. So going to start this off with, is loose form really more dangerous than strict form? This came up because a guy was defending Nick Walker, not Nick Walker. He was defending Sam Sulek's loose form, ego lifting, by saying, well, it's really no more dangerous. I mean, someone like Nick Walker got injured tearing his hamstring using perfect form with, I think he said only 315 on Romanian deadlifts, 315 on Romanian deadlift in good form. That's a lot of damn weight. So the analogy I used was, yeah, you can get hurt anyway. Of course you can get hurt using good form, just like you can get hurt using bad form. But it's like driving. You can get a car accident anytime you get in a car and start driving. There's never a 0% chance that you're going to get into an accident. However, if you drink a bottle of vodka, smoke a couple doobies, then you head out on the highway, your chances of getting an accident are much, much higher. So using strict form reduces your chances of having a muscle tear or any other kind of serious injury from training, because at least you're controlling the weight. Whereas if you're throwing the weight around, you have a lot of force being generated, extra force generated on those tendons. I want to take a look at Nick Walker's form because he does use really good form for a guy who's super strong. You know, I'm sure he could go heavier. That's the thing. He could go much heavier than he's going if he loosened up his form, but he will not do that. So here's a good example. Here's Nick doing some incline dumbbell presses. I don't know what these are. They look like they're like 100, somewhere around 130, 150 pounds. Who knows? It's a lot of weight. It's a good amount of weight. Put it that way. I think it says there they're 140 or 145. Okay. So look at that. Nice, slow, negative, pause at the bottom. No momentum, pure chest power, bringing those dumbbells up. Look at that. Amazing. Now, like I said, if these are 145s, yeah, that's a pretty high incline too. If these are 145s or 140, it's a 140. Now I can see it. I bet he could do with looser form something like 160s, 170s, but he's not going to do that because, well, you shouldn't be throwing the dumbbells, Nick. Shouldn't be doing that because, you know, the objective here is to build the chest. Here we go. T-bar rows. This is the last one I'll show for Nick. T-bar rows. I see people cheating like crazy on this all the time. Look at that. He comes up all the way and touches. No momentum, no jerking. He's pulling up nice and smooth, squeezing the lats and getting a nice controlled negative. Really focusing on building that back because Nick is trying to be the greatest bodybuilder in the world. He's trying to become Mr. Olympia. He's already been third place in the Olympic. He's already the Arnold Classic champion from 2022. He's not worried about ego lifting. He doesn't care how much weight. He's using as much weight in good form, stimulating the muscle as possible. But he's not trying to go crazy heavy just for the sake of going crazy heavy. All right, now I'm going to go to Sam, and I haven't marked out any specific Sam Sulek videos, so I'm just going to pick out one at random, a random Sam video, because I'm not saying he has the worst form, but I've seen him do some pretty scary looking form. So I got to go through this ad first. Apologize for that, guys. Yeah, I have no idea what he's going to be doing in this video. So let's go here. He's going to a cable row. Let's see what his form looks like. This is a cable row using a lat pull down bar. He's chatting away. You know, I give the kid a lot of credit. He's built a tremendous physique at a very young age in a very short time. Great genetics. Loves training. I love his passion. Loves enthusiasm. Form from what I've seen. Let's take a look. I don't want to snap to judgment. Okay, he's just heaving the weight. The back is not doing, he's really just yanking that weight. The back it's not getting as much work as if he was using full range of motion and controlling that negative. He does not control the negative at all. He's just letting it fly. Just letting it fly. And, the stretch position, very important, but controlling the negative, that negative stroke of the rep, very, very important. Let's see who does. Here for lats, similar thing. I bet a little better form there. Let's go to one more Sam video. I'm not going to harp on his bad form. I mean, I've seen worse. Let's go to like a leg day, because I have seen him do some wacky things on legs. Well, here we go. Let's go to a chest day. Oh, he's in the UK here, so all right. Here's a set. Oh, that's not bad at all. Okay, I take it back. This isn't bad. I'd like to see a little slower negative for sure, but that's not bad form. So, I really shouldn't be using him as it's not the worst form I've seen. There was something I saw where he was doing some Smith machine squats with Fawad watching him. And that form was really, really cringy for me. Really looked like he was going to hurt himself. Let's see here. Let's see what he does on squats. I'm curious. If he does decent form on the squats, I promise I'll leave him alone, guys. And yeah, of course. I understand he's training for fun. He enjoys lifting super heavy. He's not trying to be the greatest competitive bodybuilder in the world. He's making a great living, better than almost every pro bodybuilder. Basically just, lifting for fun, getting big, huge. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is a barbell squat. That's not that bad. I would like to see a little more control of the bottom, a little less bounce, but that's not bad form. I think he's actually cleaned up his form a little bit. But the point is, guys like to say, Ronnie Coleman used loose form and Ronnie's fine. Ronnie got big and huge. Well, that form didn't work well for too many other people. It worked great for Ronnie Coleman, for Branch Warren, for Johnny Jackson. Ronnie's obviously riddled with injuries now. He's had 12 back surgeries. He's had both hips replaced. He has no regrets, but I'm saying you do pay a price for that type of training down the line. You do increase your risk of injury drastically, because let's use a squat as an example. Let's say you have 300 pounds on your back. You control it, do a little bit of a slight pause, like a split second pause at the bottom, then fire back up, versus just dropping and bouncing out of the bottom. Physics was a long time ago, high school physics for me, but I do know a lot more force is going to be applied, torque force, whatever it is, on your connective tissues, primarily your tendons, in that bottom position if you bounce rather than smoothly reverse direction, because it's amplifying the force. Some of you guys I'm sure a lot of you could explain it much, much better than I could. But again, the Ronnie Coleman thing, yeah, Ronnie got away with that form, but I'm not saying Ronnie would have been any better, got a better physique. I think he was going to look the way he looked regardless of how he trained, whether it was strict form, loose form. He just had such insane genetics, a crazy work ethic. He trained very hard, very heavy. Obviously a great responder to PEDs, food, all that stuff. It was like a perfect storm, Ronnie Coleman. So yeah, we'll get to your questions about that later if you have any. So next question came from a guy named Joseph Arablo. I don't know. I've never heard your name pronounced. So he asked me, I tore my triceps 10 years ago. Is it too late to have a report? I hate the way it looks. Repaired. It's most of the time I would say yes. He says he actually consulted with an orthopedic surgeon who thinks he can do something. But generally speaking, I did look into it. When you tear a muscle, and I've torn my tricep now and my quad full tears. I've had partial tears a few other places that they weren't severe enough to require surgery, but I've had surgery to repair my right tricep and my right quadricep. So I do know a little bit about it. You should get it repaired as soon as possible. The time frame that most orthopedic surgeons recommend is within 2 to 3 weeks. The reason you don't want to wait longer than that, to use the tricep as an example. So you tear it. This is where it inserts, right? Your elbow. It's going to go retract up here. It's going to retract way up toward your rear delt. And the longer it's up there retracted, because it hasn't been reattached yet surgically, scar tissue starts forming, the tendon shortens, the muscle shortens, and scar tissue forms around everything. And it's going to make it much more difficult, because what surgeons do is they have to go back in there. I should probably use the biceps on this side. Surgeons have to go back in there. So say you tore it, they have to pull it all the way back down the tendon and reattach the tendon where it inserts. So the biceps is two-headed muscle that inserts on the inside of your elbow, the crook of your arm right there. They have to stretch it all the way back down. Usually use sutures. Usually it's what's that substance they use? Teflon sutures. They drill a little hole in the bone and into the tendon. They sew it all back together and it heals, and you're good. Same thing with the tricep. I had Teflon sutures to reattach that. Same thing with the quad. So the longer you wait, the more difficult it's going to be for a surgeon to stretch that muscle back all the way down to the insertion point and anchor it in there with the sutures, or sometimes they even have to use a screw. I think I might have a screw in my, I'm not sure. I never actually asked the surgeon. I might have a screw anchoring my quadricep tendon back in place. So you do want to get it done as quickly as possible. I've spoken to a few people who waited too long, and they were told by their surgeons that it was too late. You know, we can't give you a good result now. So you definitely don't want to wait a long time. If you can get it as soon as possible. Like I remember Branch Warren, he tore his quadricep, and he ended up winning the Arnold Classic 6 or 7 months later. But I think he tore it on a Friday, and he was Friday or Saturday. He was in surgery first thing Monday morning. I tore my quadricep August 30th. I would have had it repaired September 3rd was his next availability, the surgeon. But that was Labor Day, which is a big holiday here. He wasn't doing any surgeries. He's probably on a boat with some friends or something, family. I'm imagining. So we did it the next day. So that was a 5-day wait. You don't want to wait too long. Like I said, if you wait longer, you're going to really make it tougher for the surgeon to do a good job and to get that muscle and the tendon back to where they need to be. So don't wait too long. Here's a good one. This came up. I did a show with Dr. T, Dr. George Tuliatos, earlier in the week, and the main subject was talking about steroids. Why are we seeing? The subject was, the question I posed was, will today's bodybuilders live to old age? Because the viewer had sent in a question asking, we got guys like Albert Beckles, who's 93. I think Frank Zane's about 80 now. Robbie Robinson's close to 80. Arnold's pushing, he's got to be like 75 now, something like that. Lou Ferrigno's over 70 now. We have a lot of these older bodybuilders, and they're still kicking. We never saw that epidemic of heart attacks and kidney failure in that generation. And I don't think the doctor and I did the best job of explaining it, because we were sort of rushing through. We had a bunch of other questions to get to, but people in the comments section, they did make some really good points. Here's a few of the things that are probably responsible. And I'm not talking about COVID vaccines or anything like that. I don't want to get canceled. But one thing is that people back then, obviously the doses were lower. One reason they were lower is because everything they had back then was pharmaceutical grade, pure, properly dosed. They never had to worry, am I even getting the right drug that I'm supposed to be using? Is it really as potent as it's supposed to be? So if they got an amp of parabolin that says 76 milligrams, which is what parabolin, the only human version of trenbolone that's ever been produced, it was in France that was made. They never had to worry. Is this really parabolin? Is this really 76 milligrams? It was a given. This test they used was from, American pharmaceutical companies. The DECA they used, everything was pharma grade. It was made by multi-million, billion-dollar pharmaceutical companies. They didn't have to worry about the purity of it. Nothing. It was a no-brainer. Things have changed drastically since then, since steroids became illegal and everything went underground. You don't know what you're using now. You can get this roid test kit that William Llewellyn sells. If you look up roid tests, you can buy one. That just tells you what the product is. So if you put some of it in there, it'll tell you this is testosterone cypionate, this is DECA, this is Tren, this is primobolan. Whereas you might be buying primobolan, and what you think was primobolan was actually just like test. Or you might be buying what you thought were Anavarp tabs. Turns out it's D-ball or Anadrol or something like that. So the roid test kit will help you figure that out. It will not tell you the potency. So you might think you're getting 200 milligram per milliliter primobolan, for example, just off the top of the bat, which is a pretty expensive drug. Primobolan is far more expensive than tests, 2 or 3 times easily. So you can find out if it's the right drug, but it won't tell you, is it 200 milligrams per milliliter, or is it 150, or is it 170 or 30, or you have no idea. So people, because we have this uncertainty these days, those of us who've used underground gear, to be on the safe side, we'll use more just to be sure we're getting enough, which is obviously a recipe for disaster. Another thing to think about is there are a lot of impurities. These are not made, they're not made in multi-million-dollar clean rooms and labs. These are made in somebody's house for the most part. Maybe they have access to a lab, I don't know. But a lot of these things, I'm sure there's contaminants in them. There's bacteria in them. There's heavy metals like mercury and lead. I kind of get this a sinking feeling sometimes when I think about all the underground gear that I've used over the past 25 years. What kind of shit have I injected in my body, and what long-term effects is it going to have? Final thing to consider is that guys stay on drugs for not only much larger parts of the year. Most guys never really go off. They just blast and cruise. So big cycle, cruise dose, like a TRT dose, or to some people, TRT, what they call a cruise is like 2 or 3 times what a legitimate TRT dose would be. But a lot of guys now never go off. Another thing to consider is that guys, especially in bodybuilding, pro bodybuilding, the careers are much longer. There's money to be made now, if not from competing, from sponsorships, from social media platforms, from coaching. There's a lot of ways competitors can make money now. Whereas in the old days, in the Arnold and Lou Ferrigno days, I think only a couple of them had any money coming in from Joe Weider. I bet you could count them on one hand and still have a couple of fingers left over. There was no money in the sport. The Mr. Olympia paid $1,000 to win the Mr. Olympia back in the day. $1,000. I think the first few Mr. Olympias, it was $500. Now it's $400,000, and I suspect they're going to bump that up. But there was very little to be made. There were no other pro shows, so there was no money in pro bodybuilding back then. Guys would typically start competing in their late teens, and they would be done by the time they were in their mid to late 20s. Done. Even Arnold retired in the movie Pumping Iron after the 75 Olympia when he was only 27 years old. We got guys now turning pro anywhere from 25 to 30 years old and competing until they're 40, 50 years old. So some of them have been competing since teenagers. We got people, a lot more pros and top amateurs who've been on gear for far excess of 10 years. We're talking 20, 30 years plus. So you compound that. I consider the damage and the risk of steroids to be sort of comparable to alcohol or cigarettes. If you have an occasional cigarette now and then, probably not going to get lung cancer. You smoke 2 packs a day for 20, 30 years, you're probably going to get lung cancer, or you're going to get emphysema. You're going to get some severe problem with your lungs from smoking that much. Drinking. If you have a couple drinks here and there, maybe you have like a beer every day or a glass of wine every day, that's fine. You drink a bottle of whiskey every day, your liver's gonna give out within 5-10 years. You'll die of cirrhosis. Most of us, I know people in my family who died of liver failure. So it happens. It happens, guys. I'm gonna give a quick shout out to a guy named Don Cardillo. He manages the Zoo Health Club up in Seabrook, New Hampshire, which is where Pro Brad Rowe is from. It's actually the site of a nuclear power plant. There's the Seabrook nuclear power plant. It's got there are two big domes or balls of cement, giant cement balls. It's right near a beach, near Hampton Beach, that we go to, all the meatheads, just over the Massachusetts border, Hampton Beach. But he always invites me to train up there. And when I go up there, it's like a 2-hour drive. Then I'm at the beach all day, 2 to 3 hour drive back, depending on traffic. So I'm really not feeling like going to the gym up there, but I'm sure I've seen it. It looks like an awesome place. I do want to get there someday. Here's another thing that came up. Tyler Mannion made a post on Instagram and on the NPC News Online YouTube channel announcing that the NPC is adding 30 natural shows in the USA and a second natural pro qualifier for the Mr. Olympia in 2025. So I had to go and check out the rules. What kind of parameter? What kind of how natural is this going to be? Is what I really want to know. Where did I find it? Okay. Oop. Share screen. Stop that screen. Gonna go to this one. Okay, here we go. All right, so these are things that are banned in the time frame. So anabolic agents, which include steroids, exogenous, endogenous, when administered exogenously, and other anabolic agents. For example, clenbuterol, tibolone, I don't know what that is, Zeranol, I don't know what that is, zilpatinol, I don't know what that is. You have to be 3 years clean from those. Hormone and metabolic modulators, 3 years. Insulin, 3 years, unless you're diagnosed diabetic and you need it. You have medical clearance for that. Peptide hormones, growth factors, related substances, and mimetics, 3 years, including but not limited to EPO, peptide hormones and hormone modulators, growth hormone, growth factors, and growth factor modulators. SARMs, 3 years. That's Andarine, LGD, 4033, Ostarine, Rad 140. Are those all the SARMs? I think there's more SARMs. I don't know why they only listed those. Thyroid hormones, 3 years. When used for bodybuilding purposes, but not limited to Synthroid T3, T4. Prescribed thyroid hormones are permitted for those of you who legitimately need to be on thyroid meds. Number 7, beta antagonists, 6 months. Beta 2 antagonists. I think that would be so that you could pass the drug test, pass a polygraph. Diuretics and masking agents, 6 months. Have to be clean of those. Insulin manipulators, 6 months. When used solely for weight loss. So you can't be using Ozempic, Wegovy, Metformin, Ribelsis. So all you Ozempic addicts out there, no, you can't use it. Let's see what else we got. Insulin manipulators, stimulants, 6 months. Stimulants, I'm assuming they would mean like, pill amphetamines, because obviously everyone takes pre-workouts, so I don't think they mean over-the-counter stimulants. Maybe they mean like cocaine, amphetamines, meth, I don't know. Intoxicating substances, 12 hours before the polygraph. That includes cannabis, alcohol, and narcotics, because I'm assuming that would be because you could probably pass a drug test more easily if you were high, stoned out of your mind, or drunk off your ass, or both. Muscle implants or injections of any kind, 8, I think, including Synthol. Good, I like that one. Natural NPC regional shows will have at least all open class winners tested backstage by urinalysis by a qualified nurse or doctor, or have a minimum of 50% of the competitors tested by polygraph scheduled before or during check-ins. 3, natural pro qualifier contests such as the Ben Weider Naturals Pro-Am will have at least all open class winners tested backstage by urinalysis, qualified nurse or doctor, and have polygraph testing during check-ins. Natural IPB Pro USA contests, such as Ben Weider Pro-Am, Ben Weider Naturals, have the top 2 in each division tested backstage by urinalysis and have polygraph testing during check-in. Polygraph rules. Okay. Polygraph results are final. Testing will begin at check-in. Any competitor who, for whatever reason, fails to check in and make themselves available for testing will be disqualified. Any competitor who refuses to be tested or who leaves before testing is completed will be disqualified. Under no circumstances will refunds be given for entries, tickets, or other event-related expenses if an athlete is disqualified as a result of positive urinalysis, failed polygraph. They're going to have some serious waivers for these people to sign for that. Penalties for positive test are as follows. First offense, 1 year. I guess you're banned for a year. Banned is the wrong word here, I guess. 2 years, second time, third, lifetime. Suspension, yeah. Suspension is from all NPC Worldwide, and IFBB Pro. And then there's a list of all the natural shows, West Coast. So we have them in Los Angeles, we have them in Ohio, Washington, North Carolina, Illinois, Florida, Missouri, Texas, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, Oregon, Louisiana, Missouri. That's MS is Missouri, yeah. Georgia, Oklahoma, California again, Anaheim this time, Pennsylvania, Colorado, Alabama, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Texas, Idaho, California, Kentucky, Virginia, Florida, New Mexico. Yeah, nothing in my area, nothing in New England. Bummer. All right, what we got, guys? How many sets do you do per body part? I don't really think about it that way, so I'm going to try to figure it out while I have you. So let's see. I did back today. I started with pull downs, lat pull downs with a grip like this. It was one of those bars with the circles at the end with the handles inside so you can have a neutral grip about this wide. I did a warm-up, 2 warm-up sets, and 4 work sets. So I don't count that. So that was 4 sets. I'm gonna try to actually write this down. So 4. I went on to T-bar row on a platform. 1 warm-up set, and I did, it was again 4 work sets. Did hammer strength rows. Did a quick warm-up set. 3, 4, 4. 1 arm hammer strength rows. I did again 4 of those. I like 4. Then I did 4 supersets of cable pullovers with a low cable row that was just across. So it's on the cable crossover. So on one side of the cable, I'm going like this, doing pullovers with a cable on the top pulley. And then I would add another handle set up on the bottom pulley, right across from it on the bottom. And I was doing real low rows, pulling right into below the navel, the belly button. So 4 of those. So that was back. So 4, 12, 16. I did 20 sets for back. I did 4 sets for rear delts. I did a rope pull where I really squeeze, a rope pull with the cables where I really come back and squeeze the rear delts. Did 4 sets of those. For biceps, I did 40, 50, 60, 70. I did 1 warm-up and 3. So for biceps, I only did 3 sets of those, 3 sets of barbell curls. And then I went to a cable pull-down machine, put a short straight bar, and I did 4 sets. Looks like a pull-down, a close grip pull-down, but try to get rid of this so I can show you. No, I don't want to show that. I want to hide that banner. Yeah, so then it was a pull down like this where I keep the elbows in front of my body. I don't bring them back. I'm pulling down like this to really work the biceps. And really, usually you're trying to take biceps out of the movement when you do a lat pull down. In this case, it's for the biceps. So I'm really squeezing down and flexing the biceps right here. So for those, 7 sets for biceps. Typically for a big body, the larger ones like chest and back. Chest and back's like 20 work sets. I'd say shoulders is probably 12 to like 16 work sets. Yeah, 12, 16. Legs, I do all in one session, quads and hams and all calves. I bet that's altogether more like 25 work sets. But I move pretty quickly. The only workout that takes me, I do push-pull legs. Legs can take over an hour. I can get push and pull done within an hour and 10 minutes typically. But, if more volume feels right to you and you're recovering and you're growing, nothing wrong with that. If you're tired and you're not making any gains, even though you're getting plenty of sleep and you're getting plenty of good food, try cutting back on the volume. We're not all the same. We don't all respond to the same amount of volume. So I would experiment with different types of volume. I'll just leave that up there for now until I go to the comments. Jordan Miggs, I hear a lot for Cruz. Hey, Sako, what's up, man? So the amount that people need for TRT is going to vary from person to person, which is why, clinics, even conscientious TRT clinics, HRT clinics, but especially if you're working with a physician that you're seeing like on a regular basis, they do monitor your blood work, especially in the initial phases of establishing your TRT dose. So they might start you off at, 200 is very standard. They might start you off at 200 milligrams of something like cypionate or enanthate a week. And then 2 weeks later, they'll have you do some blood work and they'll look at your free test and your total test. They'll look at other values too, but those are the primary numbers. And if you're way past normal range, they're going to cut your dose down and repeat the blood work again in 2 or 3 weeks. If you're below the normal range, they're going to bump up your dose a little bit. And again, this might take them 2 or 3 times taking the dose up or down to give you a nice stable, a level that they're comfortable with, which is usually high normal range. They typically don't want to see you any higher than like 800. They want you somewhere. The sweet spot for most of these clinics, most doctors, is going to be like 5, maybe 900. They certainly don't want you like 1,000 or more. They'll say it's too much and they're going to back off on your dose. But a cruise, no, I mean, if you're typically using a gram, 2 grams total of gear a week, let's say, if you're using like 700, 750 tests, 400 trend, 600 deca, which is not unusual. I know plenty of people that do that much. The cruise is going to have to be something that's going to at least keep you from crashing and losing a lot of size and strength, libido, energy, things like that. So 200 milligrams a week for a cruise is very reasonable. It's not uncommon for people to use twice as much than that or more, which, most doctors they'd shake their head at that. But, people do what they want to do. What's that machine? What's the machines like? Is it like Bayshore? Which machines? I don't know which one you're talking about. I kind of forgot. I'm not really sure which one you're talking about, Sacco. Help me out and taper down. Oh, yeah, Sacco, just to finish the TRT thing. Most people will cruise. Oh, for zoo? Oh, I've never been there. I drive past it. I get off the 95 north, and then, you're on the back roads for a good 15, 20 minutes before you get to the beach. And I pass it. I pass the zoo shortly after I get off the highway, but I'm on the way to the beach. So I've never actually been inside. I feel bad. I want to go there. I want to train. I've seen it on Instagram. It looks like a cool gym, but I just haven't made it inside. Yeah, it's very close to Hampton. It's like like I said, if you're going to Hampton Beach, it's like 5 minutes off the highway, and then it's like another 10 minutes there from Hampton or Salisbury. They're all in the same area. Nanny says, I go to the gym, everybody's taking some kind of anabolics. Wow. I tell them I'm creatine away, and they're making jokes about me. From not 5 years in the future, there'll be no natties anymore. No, I don't believe that. There's always going to be plenty of people who choose to do it drug-free. I think you tend to notice people. They stand out, like if there's, this is real sexist, but if you're walk in a room and there's 100 women, most men are going to notice the 4 or 5 most attractive women right away. Women are the same way. They don't think that they don't notice men's looks. So I think it's like in a gym. You walk into a crowded gym, your eyes are immediately going to be drawn, especially as men. We have that, that alpha male competitive thing where we instantly scout out who's bigger than me, who am I bigger than, and your eyes are going to be drawn immediately to the jacked up guys, the guys on juice, the guys who are obviously on gear. They're going to stand out to you more. But no, I don't see that day. There's a lot of people who they just like to train. They want to be fit and in shape. It takes an extra level of, crazy really to start using steroids. I mean, it's obviously it's illegal, which doesn't bother most people. To them, it's about it's as risky as, driving over the speed limit a few miles. They don't care. But, I don't think we're ever going to get to the point where everyone's on gear. I mean, I've seen a little uptick for sure over the past few years. And I think that's because social media has shown these young kids so many more juiced up bodies, where before, only people that followed bodybuilding saw steroid built physiques. Now, if you have a phone, you have Instagram, you scroll through it, or TikTok, or whatever the hell platform you're on, you'll see plenty of people that are on drugs, male and female. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, I would take pride in the fact of being natural. You don't have to flaunt it because nobody cares. But like I said, like I tell my son, because my son's natural. He's 24 years old. He'll be 25 in September. He's been training already a good 10 plus years. He's not enormous. He looks quite natural. But he's not risking his health. He's not hurting his heart or his kidneys or anything like that. And all the muscle he builds, it's his to keep. Whereas on steroids, and I say this as a longtime steroid user, you're always renting part of that muscle mass. It's never yours to keep. When you stop using steroids, you're going to lose some of it. How much? It varies from person to person. But you're not going to keep everything. Everything that you built on steroids is impossible to maintain all that when you stop using steroids. Steroids help you build more muscle, and then they help you keep that muscle. You've seen tons of guys who go off steroids. The ones who really stop training consistently and stop eating well, they lose a lot of muscle. The ones who keep up their training hard, get plenty of rest, eat a lot of good food, those people keep a lot more of their muscle tissue because they're still doing everything right. The people that go off steroids and they just, they stop working out, or they stop working out seriously because they don't have that motivation anymore. They don't have that instant reward when they look in the mirror of the real swollen muscles and the veins and all that. I mean, it's addictive. That's why I tell people all the time, you think you're going to do one cycle of steroids. It's not going to be one, dude. It's going to be very few people I've ever known have just done one cycle of steroids. A lot of them planned. They had every intention of just doing one steroid cycle, but as time went on, once they got a taste of it, once they saw the results in the mirror, once they started getting all these compliments, once they saw how much their lifts were going up in the gym, and they saw that physique change, yeah, I mean, it's tough. You don't want to give it up. And then, if you go off steroids, you lose that strength, you lose that size, it's depressing. And especially even if you're doing PCT, you're still going to have a crash. But if you don't do it, or if you're at that point of no return where your own hormone production is never going to resume again, like mine, I'll never make testosterone again in any amounts. At that point, it's very, very depressing to go off because you feel like you're not the same person anymore. You're going to miss it. You don't want to go back on. Yeah. Sako says, yeah, you're playing yourself in one cycle. People think, okay. Our stuff says there were some old school guys who died of excessive use also. Sure. Bodybuilders and football players. We don't think of that because many have forgotten them. Yeah, there were, also there's a show I like. I really watch, I like, called Dark Side of the Ring. It's about pro wrestlers. Most of them were steroid users. A lot of them were also recreational drug addicts, pain pills because they were always injured and they had to keep wrestling injured. A lot of them had heart attacks. A lot of them passed away. Yeah, we've lost a ton of football players. I'm just saying we're seeing more. Steroids have never been harmless. They've always been dangerous. But like I said, if you use more of them and use them for longer and longer periods of time, is it on Vice? Is it on Vice? I don't know. Do a search. I think you might be right. It's Dark Side of the Ring. Where can I watch Dark Side of the Ring? I just watched one about the Road Warriors yesterday. So Tubi, Hulu, Google, Apple, Prime? No, I don't watch any of those. I watch it on, I think it is Vice. Huh. I watch it for free. Tubi? No. No, I think you're right. I think it's on Vice. I don't watch any of the streaming services. I have a bunch of those streaming services, but that's not where I watch it. I still think Reagan is better than Rafael Brandao. The Rafael that I just saw take third place at the Arnold, Ohio a few weeks ago, no. Reagan would not beat that Rafael. Nope. The Rafael from a couple of years ago, who was a little smaller, even then, I think Rafael would probably still catch him on condition. He's also got better overall proportions. He's not really lacking anything, Rafael, whereas Reagan still needs a lot of chest. The biceps still need to come up. Rafael is very, very complete. He's my huge odds-on favorite for, let's see. We got any Rafael Brandao? Take a look at Rafael. Yeah, like I said, we have a preview up right now on this channel that I did with Giles Tiger Thomas. There's a tiger right there. Let's see if Rafael has any new updates on his Insta. No, this is all ads. All ads. What's this? That was Ohio. Okay. That was backstage Ohio. Let's go to Rafael at the Arnold then. Nope. I thought that was going to be the posing. It's not. That's not the posing either. He definitely keeps his Insta game up. All right, well, there's a good shot. Yeah, Rafael, this would beat Reagan. Reagan's getting better and better, but Rafael's damn good right now. He's damn good. Tonio Burton. Tonio might catch him. That would be, it's a long shot because I think Rafael is just that good right now. Antonio's still a work in progress. But Rafael has leveled up. This was not the Rafael from a couple of years ago that took like 9th or 10th place at the Olympia. This is a much deadlier Rafael. Is that him when he was young? Yeah. Yeah. If he doesn't win, I'd be very, very surprised. Very surprised. Yeah, look at that. 10-year difference there. I didn't realize I wasn't even showing it. Oh, Ron. What are we going to do with you? All right, so here we go. Yeah, I mean, look at how well he compared to Mr. Olympia Hadi Choopan and defending Arnold Classic Samson Dauda. They're bigger than him. They're thicker, but not by a lot. They're not really like blowing him off the stage at all. He holds his own, Rafael, with these two. And, you know, Hadi might come back and win the Olympia this year. He might win his title back. I wouldn't be surprised. And Rafael's hanging there right with him. Right there, that shot there, that front lat spread, killer shot for Rafael. Killer shot. Look at how beautiful the structure, how wide the shoulders, look how small the waist is. Obviously, he doesn't have the massive thighs like Hadi. Hadi's about 4 inches shorter. But man, side shots, Rafael's right there with these guys, right there with them. Yeah, he's not missing much. So, yeah, I like Regan Grimes a lot. I think he's got a great physique. But no, I don't see him beating this guy. I don't see anybody beating Rafael tomorrow. Like I said, we're having a watch party here, right here on this channel. It's going to be myself, Giles Tiger Thomas, Big Mike Cox, Jen Geraci will be there. We might even be blessed with an appearance by the Goon, Chris Griffin. I'm going to put the invitation out. We'll see if he shows up. But we're going to have a good time, guys. Join us, noon and 6. Judging and finals. These are Eastern Standard Time, so adjust accordingly. That's 1 p.m. in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Noon Eastern for the judging. 7 p.m. in Sao Paulo for the finals. 6 p.m. here on the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time of the USA. Look at Rafael, man. He looks phenomenal. I was already a fan, but I'm a much more of a fan of Rafael now that because I said this guy's got great shape, gets in awesome condition, beautiful structure, symmetry, proportion, all that, but he just needs a little more size. He's got it now. I think he needs maybe a little bit more to really push guys like Hadi and Derek and Samson. But dude, look, as you saw, he was right there with them. He was right there with them. He's not getting blown away. He's not getting outmassed and made. He's not looking small next to these two. Put it that way. Not at all. Not at all. Can you meet the Cutler at the Roxy? Yeah, it's actually the Royale, but we call it. Sako was talking about a club in Boston. It's called Royale now. In the old days, when I moved back to Boston at the end of 2000, I was looking for a club. I had just started going clubbing at age 30. I was kind of a late bloomer. And everybody was going to a place called the Roxy on Tremont Street in Boston. And that was the spot, man. That's where everybody went. I lived by ego lifting. Well, you live by the sword, you might die by the sword, Mark. I mean, look, I did plenty of ego lifting in my younger years. Plenty. I'm paying the price now. And, you know, nobody could have told me anything that would have deterred me from it back then. You know, the older guys did come up to me, the guys with all the elbow wraps and the knee wraps, and they were walking on pain. And they were saying, kid, you know, you got to warm up more. You got to stop bouncing the weight. I'd be like, shut up, old man. What do you know? I mean, ego lifting, it's fun to lift heavy weights. That was it. I looked forward to every workout back in those days because I was getting stronger and stronger. I want to push myself, challenge myself. How much weight can I lift? That was like my goal. It wasn't really, I wanted to build the best physique I could, but to be honest, a huge motivation for me was how much weight can I lift today? Can I lift more than I lifted last time? Can I lift more than I've ever lifted before? Can I set a new personal record? You know, those are things that got me excited and amped up and maybe want to go to the gym. So I get that, guys. I totally get that. That was my frame of mind for many years. It's not the best way to build a physique because a lot of times, say you're ego lifting and you're bouncing a barbell off your chest and you're not getting much of a range of motion. You're not really engaging the chest. A lot of guys you'll see using tons of weight on the bench press or with dumbbells, but they're just they're not really controlling the weight. They're not really flexing. They're not contracting the muscle. They're not getting much of a stretch of the muscle on the way down. So you'll see guys using these crazy heavy weights, but they don't have any chest development. Their chests are very thin and shallow, where you want your chest to be nice and thick and solid. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh. Seems like the one thing I still have is my damn chest. But, you know, if you're going to be ego lifting all the time, your muscles are kind of robbed of the stimulation. As bodybuilders, we're trying to build the best physique we can. So you want to maximize your training to stimulate muscle growth. You want to keep getting stronger in good form while you're stimulating the muscle. But, you know, using that example with Nick Walker back there, Nick was doing inclines with 140s, very, very controlled, strict form. Range of motion was perfect. A little pause at the bottom. Everything you want to see. You could see the chest contracting. He could go much heavier if he was just throwing the weights up, but his chest would probably not respond, wouldn't be growing. You know, he's trying to get the best physique in the world. He's trying to be Mr. Olympia. So that's that. If you really only care, if you just love training and you're not really that concerned about improving your physique or growing, you know, everyone's free to do whatever they want in the gym. You could train chest every day. You could train arms every day. You could just do whatever you want in the gym. You know, some people go to the gym and they just ride the bike for 40 minutes and go home. Some people just come to the gym and go to the steam room. It's, you know, it's up to you. It's your body. It's your time. Do with it what you will, whatever makes you happy. But take it from someone who's been trying to build his best physique for decades and decades and has tried his best to help other people do the same. Ego lifting is not going to get you there. It's fun to challenge yourself and put up some crazy heavy weights at times, but you don't want that to be the majority of your training. Would it be worth my energy, cost, hotel, gas to go New York Pro in May? I mean, I can't tell you. How much do you like Pro Body? Do you want to see a good show? Nick Walker's going to be in it. I think Beef Stew is looking really good. He's going to be in it. Stu Sutherland. A few other people. It's going to be a good show. It's going to be, who else is doing it? I mean, Nick Walker alone is worth the price of admission. That's an Arnold Classic champ in third place at the Olympia. He's looking crazy right now. He just posted another update picture. Look how big this kid got. I call him a kid because I think he's like 20. What's he, 29 now? Look at that. 6 weeks out. So it's 6 weeks away. Look at how big Nick is. Oh, I'm not sharing it. My bad, guys. My bad. I keep thinking. I keep forgetting. Share screen. Nick. Here we go. All right. So there. Look at that. That's Nick right now. He's 6 weeks out from New York Pro. I'm going Saco. I mean, it's a great show. I always have a good time there. You know, I can't tell you if it's worth it to you. Is it worth? To me, it's not worth going to a Patriots game. I don't care about football. Other people, they'll spend thousands of dollars for tickets and fly to Patriots games. I wouldn't do that, but, you know, I can't tell you what's worth it to you. Top 5 natural supplements that really build muscle on. Okay. Creatine monohydrate has been proven in many, many, many studies. Creatine monohydrate works well. Whey protein, especially after workout, there's plenty of studies that show it stimulates muscle anabolism, recovery, things like that. I go with L-glutamine. It's good for immune system, good for recovery. I throw 10 milligrams of that into my post-workout shake. Whey protein, pre-workouts, just to get you hyped up, help you focus, push through the workouts. I get better workouts when I use pre-workouts. That's 4. That's another one. Boy, I'm having a hard time thinking of a 5th category. I guess weight gainer shakes if you really need the calories. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could also add in there EAAs, essential amino acids. There's a good amount of evidence that those work during training or in after training. You want to drink those. Muscle Tech makes one with fruit punch flavors, delicious. Press Tonio when I saw it with my own eyes. If Rafael wins, these for real. Yeah, I mean, if Tonio beats Rafael, that'll be a huge upset, and it's going to drastically increase Tonio's stock for sure. People are going to be much, much more. He's already 3rd place at the Arnold behind Mr. Olympia and the Arnold Classic champ. I mean, he's already being talked about as a top 5, top 6 Olympia guy, where I don't think anyone was really doing that before. I mean, aside from his dedicated, loyal fan base, I don't think too many people were saying Rafael Barandeo is going to be in the top 5 at the Olympia. But now I could see it. I know it's very crowded at the top 5. Let's not forget, we still have guys like Andrew Jacked. We still have Derek wasn't there. Michael Krizo. We got Hunter Labrada. I mean, we have some great talent up there, but Rafael looks damn good, man. Rafael wasn't close. Samson, honestly, Samson, legit monster. Oh, yeah. I don't think Rafael was. Giles thought they were closer than I did. I didn't see it as close. I think Samson was far in the lead above him for sure. Ego lifting is fun. If working out is not fun, why bother? I agree. But, it's all perspective. I mean, to some people, the lifting is really just a means to an end. It's what they see in the mirror and the physique changes and improvements. That's what drives and motivates them. Not everybody. I get that. But if that's your driving motivation, if that's what really satisfies you to see your physique change and grow, then whatever method of training that you're doing that's going to produce those results is going to be fun, because it's fun for you to see those results. But if you're really just about having a good time in the gym and really challenging yourself, how much weight can I lift? Like I said, that was my mentality for many years as a younger guy. So I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, like I said, any style of training that is enjoyable to you, yeah, go for it. Like heavy duty and the Dorian blood and guts. A lot of people have tried it. It's just not fun. Like for me, like I tried those real abbreviated things. It wasn't really fun. I love training. So for me to do one work set and then I'm done, I understand that according to the proponents of HIT and heavy duty and, all that blood and guts, that Dorian will tell you that one set is the most productive amount of sets, and you don't want to do any more than that. But even knowing that, I still want to do more. I enjoy being in the gym. I enjoy training. If I'm going to go in there and just knock it out in 30 minutes, to me, that's not fun. I didn't want to do it. Yeah, Sako, I'll be there for sure. I missed the past couple shows that they put on. It was way up in Lynn. I really didn't like that venue. I'm so glad they moved it out of Lynn. Nothing against Lynn, but it was in the city hall. It was an older building. There wasn't much parking. This place, you have to go to a parking garage across the street, but there's plenty of parking. There's plenty of things around there if you want to go out to eat, whereas in Lynn, yeah, good luck. So I'm really happy that this change of venue. Cutler himself had a lot to do with it. So did Nate Tello, the owner of Gym Hub Boston. He helped Jay scout out a different venue. He was sort of scouting out venues for Jay and found the Royale, and they figured out a way to make it happen. Yeah, Mark. So what I think you're seeing with Nick Walker, why he might appear to be lighter in the legs, I don't think his legs have gotten any smaller, but I think his upper body has gotten bigger. So it looks like he might be a little more top heavy in this picture anyway, mainly because his upper body is just blown the F up. Yeah, here for sure. I don't think his legs are any smaller, but his upper body is bigger and thicker than ever. So I think more of the gains he's made have gone to his upper body. I don't think that's going to be an issue for him at New York Pro. At the Olympia, though, if that still continues to be the case, when you have guys like Derek and Samson and Hadi that have these crazy big quads, it could be a problem. It could be a problem. So, yeah, that was the last time he won New York Pro. Was that 2020, 2021? 2021, I think. Was it 2021? I believe it was down in Tampa when he won it. Yeah. It was one of those COVID years. I think it was 2021. But he is a freak, man. He is a freak. Look at that. The size of this kid. He's so big. Oh, goodness gracious. But see, here's a good example. Look at that controlled form. Look how slow he goes on those negatives. Lets it go all the way down for a full stretch, and he pauses at the bottom. He could use a lot more weight than this. What's that, like 5 plates, 6 plates, whatever it is. He could have loaded that thing up. He could have loaded this thing up all the way. I bet he could have loaded that one all the way up and done crappy reps, half range of motion, no pause. But again, he's trying to build By the foot stance here, I could tell he's trying to build more inner thighs, glutes, not really focusing so much on the quads with that foot stance. But look at that execution, just beautiful form. And, you know, he could go a lot heavier if he wanted to. Okay, I'm sold. Yeah, Teaneck. Yeah, Sacco, the great thing about New York Pro now, it's in Teaneck, New Jersey, at the Marriott in Glen Point. I think that's the name, Marriott in Glen Point. Plenty of parking. It's right off the highway. It's like 5 minutes off, not even 5 minutes off the highway. I like it when it's easy like that. It's all in one building. And it's still a pretty quick drive. There's restaurants in the hotel, but 5-10 minutes, you have within a 5-10 minute drive, you have malls, you have all kinds of stuff, tons of restaurants to choose from. Yeah, BCAAs, people still use those, they still make them, and everyone sort of switched over to EAAs, essential amino acids. Those are the hot amino acid supplement now. Joe Arablo, he had the tricep tear question. I paid the price for ego lifting for most of my bodybuilding career. As I got older, the injuries began piling up. Once I was forced to go lighter with perfect form, my physique got better. Yeah, you know that you're far from the first person to say that. A lot of people have said this or that injury was the best thing that ever happened to me because it forced me to lighten up and really squeeze the muscle and master that mind-muscle connection, really get the best contractions and squeezes and stretches possible that they were not getting before, heaving up all kinds of weight. So whether it was a pec injury, a back injury, a knee injury, whatever it was that forced them to go lighter and really focus on the form and the feeling in the muscle. A lot of people have said, finally my chest grew, finally my back grew, finally my legs grew after some nasty injury. Crazy, isn't it? Same thing, you look top heavy. Yeah, I mean, he's so freaking massive up top. Will Nick ever win the Olympia, Ron? I say this every time. I started going to pro shows in 1991. I was there for almost all Flex Wheeler's pro shows, Lev Roney in the States anyway. Sean Ray. I thought for sure, Flex Wheeler would win the Mr. Olympia one day. Kevin Levrone would win at least one Olympia, right? Sean Ray would win at least one Olympia. They all got second place multiple times and never won an Olympia, not one of them. So I don't know. Will Nick ever win an Olympia? Like I said, if those guys couldn't do it, there's no way to predict. You never know. There's guys that have won the Olympia that I never saw coming. Did I ever think Sean Roden was going to be Mr. Olympia back in the day when he started out as a pro, even the first couple of years as a pro? No. Did I ever think Dexter Jackson? I thought, no, he's too small. He can never win the Olympia. He won the Olympia. Yeah, I mean, you just never know. You never know. Goku says Nick legs are the same, if not bigger than Derek on all angles. The only thing is Derek has a crazy small waist. So it's not much of a detriment. Yeah, you got a good point. Derek Lunsford does have a smaller waist naturally. He's got a more natural V-taper structure. Derek has an amazing structure. It's just crazy wide shoulders for a guy who's 5'5" or 5'6". He has the shoulder width of a lot of guys who are 6 foot. If you ever stand next to him, you'll see how far across his clavicles are. It's crazy. And a small waist and those flaring quads. Yeah, I mean, structure and shape go a long way, guys. They go a long way. Mark says, I respect the performer, Nick, but to me, it's just boring watching Marty. Oh, I get, believe me, it's not that exciting to watch someone use perfect form. It's not. I'm not even excited watching it. The two most inspirational training videos of all time were Ronnie Coleman, The Unbelievable, Dorian Yates, Blood and Guts. Dorian did use perfect form. Dorian used excellent form. Ronnie's form was not excellent. He used a lot of body English. He was still engaging the muscle, but it was much looser form. But more people got inspired watching Ronnie's videos than anybody else. I mean, Ronnie's super popular even now, almost 20 years after he retired, because people still see his clips on YouTube. Primarily, that's where they see them, because I don't think too many people are buying bodybuilding DVDs anymore. Or VHS, right? But yeah, I mean, it's watching Ronnie squat 800, deadlift 800, press the 200-pound dumbbells. He was benching 5 plates, barbell rowing 5 plates, front squatting 6 plates, military press, seated military press with 3 plates, 315. Crazy strong, just crazy strong. And yeah, I mean, it's exciting. You can't help but get motivated and excited watching that. I totally get that. working on like Phil Heath machine-based, really beneficial for the long run if free weight's still a must. I really think the best is a combination of free weights and machines. And Phil did use free weights. It wasn't all machines. I think he gets a bad rap for that. I think if you mix both, you get the best of both worlds. Plenty of people have built great physiques with just free weights. I mean, Branch Warren used almost all free weights. Ronnie used 90% free weights. Go back to the old school guys. Obviously, we didn't have all these machines back then. So the guys like Lou Ferrigno, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Robbie Robinson, Mike Katz, Sergio Bray, Ed Corney, those guys, the golden era, Dave Draper, Larry Scott, Sergio Oliva Jr., Frank Zane, they all used mainly free weights because that's all that was available back then. There's Dan. What's up, man? I want to show. Hoodie looks great, brother. Jim was busy and had to hop on. Yeah, I want to show you guys one more time. Let me get rid of that banner. Yeah, I want to show you. This was Dan gave me this. If you're ever up visiting Hampton Beach or Salisbury Beach, two very, very popular beaches in New England in the summer, this is where you want to stop and train if you want to catch a workout up there. I still want to get up there, Dan. I still want to get up there one of these days, man. Doing Arnold Brazil live? Yes, Fit After 50. So we'll be doing a watch party tomorrow. Eastern times are 12 noon for judging, 6 p.m. for finals, Eastern Standard Times, 12 and 6, right here on this channel. We'll be watching along on it's Muscle Contest International is the station, the YouTube channel, I should say that it's on station. But we'll have that on screen, and it's going to be myself, Giles Tiger Thomas, Jen Gerisi, Big Mike Cox, Chris Griffin the Goon might be joining us. It's going to be a good time. Yeah, Jay Cutler had some great DVDs. A lot of people inspired by Jay Cutler DVDs. Derek Lunsford talked about it many times. He used to watch those on YouTube clips on his phone when he was just starting out bodybuilding. And then right before every workout, he'd sit in his car and watch one or two of those Jay Cutler videos. Blood and Guts did it for me. Yeah, I mean, Dorian's intensity, he was super strong, great form, and just so intense. You know, he gave, technically 100% is all you can give. He gave 100% for every single set, nothing left on the gym floor. It was just, wow. You couldn't help but be motivated seeing somebody train that hard, pour every possible ounce of energy and focus and intensity into a set. It was crazy. Ryan Scott video got 60 million views. That's crazy. I bet if you added up over all the different channels that have sampled it, have used it, it's probably like 10 times that. It's probably 1 billion. Ronnie's video got that just on his channel on the clips. But how many people have put that clip into their videos and gotten 1 million views or more? Many, many people. Serious question. Is wearing a belt all your work keep your midsection tight? See, nice dude, they have small waist compared to today's era. I don't think it really makes much of a difference. Like weight, I'm not a believer in waist trainers. I don't think they do anything. I have one on almost all the time. Not for everything, but most of the time it's just loose. It's not even tight. I just have it on because I don't want to carry it around, flopping on the floor all the time. But obviously for like things like leg curl, I take it off a lot of times where it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be bothering me. But I think if one thing that waist trainers and belts do is make you aware of your gut, of keeping your gut sucked in, because you don't want to have your gut hanging out all the time. Most of us who have put on significant amount of size over the years don't have small weights, don't have small midsections. If we let them totally relax, they pop out, especially if you've been using gear for years and overeating. GH and insulin will also obviously exaggerate the problem, but even without it, you can still get a gut. Trust me, it's not impossible. I wish it was. So, yeah, I think it makes you conscious of holding and controlling your midsection so that you're not letting it hang all the time. Because if you let it hang all the time, I do believe it's gonna grow larger and larger. It's gonna expand. These are muscles, and if they're always loose versus tight and controlled, that's a good thing about vacuums. I don't think vacuums really make your waist smaller. I don't think anything can make your waist smaller. It is what it is. But vacuums give you better control of your midsection so that you're keeping it sucked in. You're keeping it tight. You're not letting it hang. You're letting it protrude. That's what I think. Gracias, amigo de nada. You're the best, brother. Thank you. Yeah, Dan. Dan's got a great story. Much respect to Dan. I had two sisters who suffered from opiate addiction. One of them passed away from it. The other was able to get sober. She's been sober for 30 years now. God bless her. Dan struggled with that. A lot of people I've known. It's a huge problem in the United States, especially now with fentanyl, makes it even worse. OxyContin. So Dan beat it. Much respect to anyone, because it's got such a low percentage of people that are able to get sober and stay sober from opiate addiction. So much respect to you, Dan, and God bless you, brother. Always wondering if other athletes have low just because they have shorter muscle bellies, multiple factors. I don't know if I don't know. Look at Major League, not Major League Football. Look at the NFL. How many guys are tearing like hamstrings, quads, ACLs? There's a lot of injuries. Of course, they're slamming into each other at a high rate of speed. Big guys. Of course, that's dangerous. But I think it's the main reason I believe a lot of bodybuilders suffer more muscle tears than other athletes is because we've built our muscle mass, especially the pros. When we're talking about guys like that size, they've built their muscles up, 10 times bigger than they were when they started. But your tendons they don't have that potential for growth. Your tendons can never really catch up to your muscles. So if you have basically the same tendons or just a little stronger tendons holding your pec to your shoulder insertion here, but the tendon is not much stronger, you're putting a lot more force and load on that same tendon over time, and eventually chances are it's going to give. Seppi, man. Which days you come live? What time? 4 p.m. in Budapest. So I do 5 o'clock Eastern. 4. What's that? 4 in the morning. I do 5 o'clock Eastern on Fridays. I'm trying to keep it consistent. Live at 5. Friday live at 5. I think you're 6 hours ahead of me. UK is 5. I think France is 6. I don't know. You're like 6 or 7 hours ahead. So yeah, it's late. But tomorrow we're going to be doing a live watch party, noon Eastern. I'm on Eastern Standard Time. And then 6 p.m. we're doing the finals. We're going to do a live watch party for Arnold Classic South America in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Where would Lee Priest place in this era? I think he'd be kicking ass in the 212. I still think he'd be a force in the Open. He'd probably still be like top 6 in the Olympia, top 3 or 5 in the Arnold. But he'd be kicking ass in the 212. No doubt about it. What do I know about the keto diet? I know they don't eat carbs. Ketogenic diet, very simple way to diet. You just eat protein and fats. It's a very quick way to lose weight because carbohydrates retain a lot of water. So you lose a lot of water weight initially. So you get that real quick reward on the scale of seeing a lot of weight gone. But it's, over the long term, a lot of people have trouble with their energy. Some people love it. I know people that actually, they totally love the keto diet. They think they think more clearly. They have much more stable energy levels than when they eat carbs. Other people don't like it. I don't like it. I've never tried it for more than a few days, if I'm going to be honest. I do not like it. I like carbs. I respond well to them. I just love carbs, man. I love the pumps. When I have carbs in my system, I know your body can turn the fat into ketone bodies. I know it's a real thing. It's not a myth, but I just like carbs. A lot of people, it seems to work best for people who are naturally endomorphic type of body. I know that's sort of just been disproven, but people that are naturally overweight, they have a very hard time, very slow metabolism, very hard time losing body fat. Keto seems to work very, very well for that type of body. But if you're somebody who responds well to carbs, does well with carbs, it's probably not for you. A lot of bodybuilder friends are addicted to painkillers. I mean, I know a ton of people who are, they say cannabis isn't addictive. I was addicted to it. I smoked it every day. I only quit because of my hair, because I got a hair transplant and I want it to be successful in the long term. THC is bad for it, but I was smoking every damn day, every day. I feel I have a lot more mental clarity now. I'm not always thinking about when can I smoke and eating much crap food because got the munchies and but I didn't quit intentionally. I quit because of my hair. I quit totally out of vanity. What do you think, Sipamon? Latest workouts, 4 drop sets of 12. No rest, 2 12 drops. I wouldn't do so many drop sets. I wouldn't do drop sets all the time, because any intensity technique that you use, be it force reps, drop sets, supersets, your body is going to get used to them if you do them all the time. They're meant to be like a shock to the system. So if you do them all the time, they're not going to have that same effect anymore. I would try to do that, at least try to do that like every other workout. Try to do just straight sets for one workout, then drop sets on your next for a while. Just see how that works. Because I have a feeling that if you've been doing this for a while, your body, your nervous system, your muscles, everything is probably very much conditioned to it and used to it. So you'll probably get more benefit if you try to at least do it a little more sporadically than that. Wesley against C-Bum this year. I think he's going to, I still think C-Bum's unbeatable. I don't see anybody beating him. I think he's going to win his 6th Olympia title this year at the age of 29. Is he 29? See, my daughter's turning 30 Sunday. Yeah, he just turned 29, so he'll retire at age 29 with 6 Olympias. I think Wesley's very, very strong possibility for 2nd. We still have Ramondino. Ramon was flat at the Arnold. He could look much better than that. We saw him look much better than that at the Olympia. Ramon could win after C-Bum, I'm talking. Nobody's beating C-Bum this year. That's my belief. Ramon could win. Ruffin could improve and win. Urs could improve, get some more size in the upper body. But Wesley has that size. He's just really dominant, muscle size and stature and width and everything. Crazy conditioning. He's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Low dose opioid. I'm not an expert on the subject, so I'm just going to speculate that any recreational drugs, anything that's going to impact your health in any way, is probably not going to be optimal for your bodybuilding, because the healthier your body is, the better everything's going to work. The drugs, the steroids will work better. The food's going to be digested. Everything's going to be better the healthier your body is. If you're an unhealthy person, I watched this a special on Netflix about Ric Flair a few weeks ago. It was interesting because Ric Flair worked out like crazy every day. Squats, bench presses. He was very dedicated to training. He had some good muscle mass on him, but he didn't look anything like, and he was on steroids. He didn't look anything like, he admits himself, he would have looked much better, except every night he had like 12 beers and like 6 mixed drinks like every night. And if he hadn't done that, all that drinking every night, if he had just been eating clean food and getting plenty of sleep and staying away from anything that could have harmed his body, he would have looked much better. So I think any recreational drug has the potential to mess with bodybuilding. Do what you want to do. It's your life. It's your body. But if you want to be the best bodybuilder you can be, you probably want to stay away from alcohol and, for the most part, recreational drugs. Carbs of choice, rice, Reptiers, it's rice. It's just easy. I have a rice maker. My son eats rice and chicken every day. I eat rice and chicken every day. White rice. Potatoes, just rare because I'm too lazy to cook them. I'll be honest. My carbs are, so every day I have oats. I have the Quaker oats, the ones I soak them overnight. So they're not the instant ones. If you soak them overnight, you don't have to cook them in a pan. You can microwave them. So I soak those overnight. So oats with some blueberries in the morning. That's my carb with my eggs. After the workout, right after the workout, I have a handful of raisins and whey protein, Nitrotech for Muscle Tech. Meal after that is chicken and rice. It's usually a mix of breast and thigh. Chicken and white rice. Meal after that is turkey breast burger with a slice of cheese on potato bread bun with either like a corn muffin usually or a big apple. After that, I have tortilla chips with taco meat made from ground turkey breast with some salsa. And then the last meal of the day is no carbs. It's either salmon or a sirloin burger with a half a cup of mixed nuts and vegetables, usually green beans, raw green beans. That's what I eat every day. Advice plan. Oh, look at Australia. Go, Jack. Yeah. Man, it's been over a year now since I went to Brisbane. Wow. Yeah, I think I came back around this time. Yeah. I was out in Brisbane for 2 weeks, living 4 weeks and going back to traditional training. Yeah, I mean, like I said, anything that you use on a regular basis, you don't want to use intensity techniques all the time because it takes away their impact, their effectiveness. I really believe that. So, yeah. Sean claimed back Taylor, keep on repeating. Could go either way. Could go either way. I'll tell you when they're in front of me in October. Can Good Vito beat Rafael? Is all hype. I don't see Good Vito beating Rafael right now. He looks damn good. I do believe he's got a very strong chance of being third, maybe second. I see Vito in the top three, Vitaly Ogolnikov. On the score sheet, it says Vitaly Good Vito. I wonder if he's legally changed his last name to Good Vito. He might have. I don't know. I'd have to find out. But he's not all hype. He's got a great physique, the kid. He's a young guy. Tons of muscle, really nice structure and shape. We'll see. Lightman Pinata hamstring. Which one company would you and Charlie Crew gym with? Pinata, yeah. I've used a lot of the Pinata pieces, not all of them. The Redcon 1 gym had a bunch of them. The one I've been to, I went to their gym in Nashville, had a ton of it. The one in Boca, Raton, Florida, had a lot. Nate Tello's Gym Hub Boston has a few really good pieces from Pinata. Yeah, they're top of the line company. If someone said you could pick any company and they're gonna give you all the equipment for your gym, I'd pick Pinata for sure. Yeah. All right, guys. Wow, I gotta get in the shower so I can eat some food. So what do we got here? Follow me on Instagram, Ron Harris Muscle, of course. Subscribe, like, share, ring that bell. It doesn't cost you anything, helps me out so I can make this channel better and better as time goes on. Join us tomorrow here live to watch the Arnold Classic South America in Sao Paulo, Brazil. 12 noon judging, 6 p.m. finals. It's going to be myself, Giles Tiger Thomas, Big Mike Cox, Jen Gerisi, maybe the Goon, Chris Griffin. It's going to be a good time. You can have your own predictions, comments, critiques. You can talk crap, all that good stuff. So please join us tomorrow. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you that watches the channel. And I will see you guys tomorrow right here live at 12 and 6 Eastern, right here on this Ron Harris Muscle channel. Until then, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night.